The headline medical stories that affect you and your family. This is What's Happening in Health, sponsored by Mayfield Brain & Spine.
Morning, everybody, and welcome to What's Happening in Health. We are so grateful you're joining us this Sunday morning for a full hour of hope and healing. Got some great new research to share with you on reducing the stigma of hearing loss and how to turn around brain changes that can result from hearing loss. Joining us in-house to share new technology as well, we want to welcome Dr. Matthew Kist of Lund Hearing Care and Associates and Dr. Stephanie Grace of Phonet. Great to have you guys back. And what's new in nursing, from artificial intelligence to high-tech classroom technology? Tracy Phipps is joining us from the Good Samaritan School of Nursing and Health Sciences. Give me a quick wave there. We're so glad to have you here. She's going to share how their team continues to help students become great healthcare leaders. But first, quick headline for you today. People who get the shingles vaccine have a lower risk of a heart attack and stroke, according to a new study. Researchers in Europe found that adults 50 and older who received the vaccine for shingles, also known as the herpes zoster vaccine, had a 16% lower chance of having a major cardiovascular event. The CDC recommends 2 doses of this vaccine for adults ages 40 and over, and it can prevent shingles and other related complications. We also do remind you that Mayfield Brain & Spine has care for stroke and stroke prevention. You can find out more about their stroke care at what'shappeninginhealth.com. All right, on now to our top story this half hour. It's in Your Healthy Rights, and you have the right to know that help is available if you have a child struggling with the recent school shooting in Minnesota or anywhere else. Counselors say it is hard to focus on your academics when you feel afraid for your own safety. And since much of that feeling may come from what kids see on TV or on social media right now about the school shooting, Vanessa Brown, the program director of the Family Healing Center at Ohio's Central Clinic Behavioral Health, told me, start by asking kids what they have seen and what it made them feel inside.
There's coping skills in that too, because you can help them to take social media breaks, right? They can write in their journal, help them to journal some things down. And like I said, just take mini breaks.
Vanessa says if they're worried about their own safety at school,
let them know that it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to have those worries, but then reassure them that your school has safety protocols in place, and remind them of those trainings and the drills that they've experienced while they're at school. And that's going to be the best way to deal with that.
She says keeping kids consistent in activities, going to practice or playing in their usual sports, gives a sense of normalcy in a time where what they are seeing or thinking about is anything but normal. She says be a sense of comfort and know that the communication needs to be continuous with an event like this.
But I would keep the door open for a regular conversation, because kids take a long time to process what they're feeling and understand what they're feeling. And so keep the door open. It's not a one and done conversation. It really is something that you can kind of just talk about even every day. If you bring it up with them and just check in with them. How are you feeling about what we talked about yesterday?
And we do remind you, if you do need to help a child and you're not sure where to go for help, that 988 number can refer you to a counselor in your area. Also topping this half hour, healthy innovations. Want to give a quick shout out to our team at Miami University. They were just named one of America's best state or in-state employers by Forbes for a 6th straight year. The annual list provided by Forbes and market research firm Statista draws from surveys of more than 160,000 employees who work at a company of 500 or more across all 50 states and Washington, D.C. Miami now ranked number 52 in Ohio and among the state's top 10 employees in the education industry. Earlier this summer, Miami was among America's best employers for women as well. That list also put out by Forbes. All right, just ahead, the gift of life. We meet our donor of the week and share what a difference he is making in the lives of others. And listen to this. We call it Great Stuff You'll Want to Hear About with Dr. Matthew Kist and Dr. Stephanie Grace. Stay with us on What's Happening in Health.
This portion of What's Happening in Health is sponsored by Life Enriching Communities and Hawksworth.
Welcome back, everybody. In this week's Donor of the Week, we recognize a man who's been donating blood for decades. Harold Dean Cordell lives in Goshen. He says he's been a regular blood donor for more than 25 years. Cordell says one thing that he does love is hearing from Hawksworth after he donates about where his blood is going and just who he is able to help.
Well, they tell me about the people it's helped, and a lot of young people. So it's really, really pleasing to hear that. You wouldn't believe the feelings you get. It's really, really nice.
Got some dedicated people there. Hey, we want to let you know there is a great blood drive where you can donate coming up on Tuesday and Wednesday this week, the 9th and the 10th. Hawksworth has a blood drive at the Montgomeryan Boathouse. Runs from 9 to 4. Donors receive a $10 Montgomeryan gift card and a bottle of barbecue sauce as well as a box lunch. Good place to stop out if you can on your lunch hour. To schedule an appointment, please let them know. It does fill up fast. 513-451-0910. Or they also have an app, or you can visit what'shappeninginhealth.com. All right, on now to some wonderful new research we're excited to share with you about hearing. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. I'm Dr. Matthew Kist. I'm an audiologist, and I own Northern Kentucky Audiology, also known as Lawn Hearing Care Associates, down in Florence, Kentucky.
And can I just say, I've had the privilege of sending a few friends to you lately, and you have been like the bomb.
Oh.
You've just been so good to them, and they said very personal. You let people try stuff on and see how it works. And that
Absolutely.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, there's no one size fits all with me. It's very customized, very personal, and I take good care of everybody.
Yeah, and we have our wonderful friend Stephanie here.
Yes,
Remind us
hi.
a little bit about you.
I'm Dr. Stephanie Grace. I'm an audiologist and account manager at a hearing aid manufacturer called Phonak.
And I know the really fun part about what you do is you always get to bring us new technology. So she brought in some of that, but let's first talk about, a while back I'd reached out to you because there was a pretty outstanding study that said when you lose your hearing, you lose your brain power. In other words, you get dementia earlier. But we didn't know is if you filled in that gap and boosted hearing, if it made a difference. And now we do, right?
Yeah, this study out of JAMA shows kind of a 20-year follow-up, fitting patients with hearing loss with hearing devices, slowing the progression of dementia, slowing the risk of dementia, and then they compared that to people with normal hearing. And if there is hearing loss, there's certainly an increased risk no matter what, but fitting that with set of hearing devices will certainly slow or absolve the risk for a long while.
Yeah, and it is so good to know because, people would rather do that than take a pill or something.
Definitely.
Something natural that'll boost it. We have a little video. One way to find out about your hearing loss is to get a hearing test, right?
Yeah, visit an audiologist, visit an office that employs audiologists, and you'll be able to see if you have normal hearing, if there is hearing loss, and discuss any options that might be available.
All right, so that means options available. We got to get to some new stuff. All right, Steph. So you have this new technology. Do I need to hand it to you so you can talk a little bit about it?
I would be happy to
All
do
right,
that.
so
Thank you.
Each time we've had a chance to hear about a breakthrough, like the last one, it was using AI to cancel and change noise and sound. So tell us what these are.
So these are actually an extension of our current product line, Infinio. We call our customs Verto. So these are actually rechargeable custom devices. So they are custom fit to the ear. They still utilize AI to help in those challenging listening environments. The beauty of these is they are discreet and convenient. They're really easy to work with. I'll go ahead and pop one in my ear so you can actually see what it looks like. Let's see, here's my ear.
So wireless.
Yes, so these can connect to anybody's phone. They can stream phone calls, they can stream podcasts, they can connect to a variety of accessories, TV connector. Our friend Roger that we've talked about in the past, which is like a remote microphone device. The possibilities are endless because we utilize true Bluetooth Classic, so we are really unique in that way.
So tuck your hair behind your ear a little bit better because we really can't see that. That's always been the fear. And one of the reasons I wanted you here was there was this really fascinating new research about younger people and the stigma and how even if they know they have hearing loss, they won't tell anyone. So do you think things like this can help?
Oh, 100%. I think the data shows something about anybody who has a moderate to severe hearing loss. Only 17% of that population actually wears a hearing device. And we're kind of fighting an uphill battle there. We want people to know we have trouble communicating because it will make it easier for everybody. But we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot too, because now we're making them so small and we're trying to hide it. But now that it is a little bit more discreet, more comfortable, it looks more techy, right? You see people walking around with headphones in all the time. This certainly is similar to that, but will help you hear conversation in a myriad of environments as well.
So I wonder why it's different. I was thinking about this looking at your glasses. Nobody gets on me and says, oh, I have the stigma, I'm wearing glasses or contacts. And yet we do that with hearing devices. Do you ever think we could normalize? Is that sort of what the goal is?
I think that's already happening. I think we're seeing that a lot more, as Dr. Kist mentioned, everybody wearing their earbuds, their AirPods, what have you. I think hearing aids are kind of going that route. Hearing aids are cool now, which is fun, right? It's fun to have a cool product.
I haven't quite heard that, but
they
if that's
are.
where they're going,
They
that's
do.
kinda cool.
I mean, between the AI and the streaming, there are just so many cool things that you can do with the hearing aids. So these kind of combine the best of both worlds. They take the ability to stream, which a lot of people are already wearing those devices, but they also give a little amplification boost to those who really need it. And again, some background noise filtration for those challenging environments. So it really couples all of those things together into one tiny little device.
Well, that's really true. Everybody walks around with earbuds, so if we can normalize that, we can normalize this. All right, so final thought, we want to put up where to find you, but it's always a cost barrier when you have more high-tech things. And everybody goes, well, I can go over the counter now. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So the key thing there, to reminder of over-the-counter devices, it's for mild to moderate hearing loss only. So anything more severe than that, anything greater than that, you definitely want to get fit with a prescription device from an audiologist. But if you just want to test the waters and see, I feel like I have a slight hearing loss, I can't hear everything, trying an over-the-counter option is not a bad idea, but it doesn't hurt to get a second opinion anyway. And you could get that with us down in Florence, 7033 Burlington Pike. You can call us, 859-342-5846. We've got a wonderful staff, as you mentioned. We'll help anybody.
It has been really great. When people reach out to me and say, you know, I didn't feel awkward and he let me try and he gave me a good deal and all the things. I mean, I just have to tell it like it is. I'm really grateful because it breaks down barriers.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's what good healthcare is all about. So these are awesome. We're going to be sharing. Now, do they replace others or you have these in addition?
These are in addition. So we still have the more traditional style receiver in the canal over the ear device. But for people with vision and dexterity issues, sometimes those can be a challenge getting those in. So that's why these are just a really nice addition to the line.
That's really true. Those little, that's a common complaint. Well, we love to hear the latest. We appreciate just your education in the community, and we just are glad to have you back. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Liz.
Yeah. All right, she is working hard to keep a healthy heart after a transplant. We're going to tell you what she wants all of us to know about organ donation and waiting for life. And from Good Samaritan College of Nursing and Health Sciences, Tracy Phipps is in the house. She's going to tell us what's up in nursing coming up on What's Happening in Health.
This portion of What's Happening in Health is sponsored by Miami University, the Vein Center of Cincinnati, and Lindner Center of Hope.
In Waiting for Life today, a word of gratitude from a local woman who received a second chance at life. Sandra Wright had a heart transplant 8 years ago. She now runs a nonprofit to help others learn more about organ donation and heart health. It is called the Wright Life Wellness. Wright says she's made a big change in her own lifestyle. She now exercises as often as possible. Her goal now is to help others know their bodies and take health seriously.
For me, I vowed in the hospital, I always get emotional about this, that I would always pay it forward. And I'm making good on that promise because I really appreciate the fact that this heart has given me 8 more years of life. I was dying, and I did not know that until I got to the hospital. So, yes, I have nothing but thanks and gratitude in my heart.
And then, you want to do this one now?
Yeah, we can.
She told us that she was not a fan of organ donation prior to this, so quite the change of heart. Her organization provides information about living a healthy lifestyle, diet, exercise, and she hopes people will be proactive to live healthier lives. All right, on now to a wonderful segment here called Your Healthy Future. We look at the future of medicine, and we need nurses.
Yes.
Hello, tell us who you are and what you do.
My name is Tracy Phipps, and I am a nursing instructor at Good Samaritan College of Nursing and Health Sciences. I've been there for 6 years, a nurse for 26 years.
Wow.
And so I just teach and getting people into the healthcare field.
Just teach is no small thing.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about how you are trying, we've kind of had a bad rap since COVID where nurses were burning out in that. You're sort of trying to rebuild that confidence and get people to understand this profession isn't necessarily a burnout profession. We take care of our people. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, I think I've noticed even with the students that they even help each other and take care of each other. And the nurses that are on the floor are very committed to our students. So being with a TriHealth facility, we are able to work on the TriHealth units in all of the different hospitals, and we always get a very good warm reception from them.
Yeah, we've been in there. They are so happy to have your student nurses.
Yes.
And, it's kind of fun to have someone when you can teach it, it, that kind of thing. We have a little video of one of your classes. You kind of start working on models and that kind of thing. But just tell me about the program. How many years do you have to go? How does it work? That kind of thing.
So you have your general education studies that you do, and that typically probably takes maybe 2 or 3 semesters. And then there's 4 semesters of nursing. And
you kind of get in classes for part of that, and then you transition to the floors?
Yes. Yeah. So you'll have some lab time, you'll have theory time, and then also you have clinical time. And the longer that you're there, the more clinical hours you get. So one of the great things about our school is that we do have, we get first choice. We get for our choices for our clinical floors. So that is good.
So that means if I want to work on a certain floor, med surg or heart or whatever, I get to go there?
Yes, when you get into nursing 4, you can pick like where you want to go to for your preceptorship if there's something that interests you. But when we're doing our med surg, it just means that because we are affiliated with TriHealth, we will get those floors over another nursing college. So the other thing that's really nice about our clinicals is that we do all in-person clinicals, meaning that even OB and pediatrics, we do those actual on clinical sites. So it's not just simulation for those.
That's really important because you don't learn it until you do it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So a couple things. We have heard that you've had some pretty incredible growth.
Yes. So we've added quite a few programs. So nursing has been here. We've had there for almost 130 years. But we do have the associates program in nursing. We have our bachelor's in science and nursing. And we have now our practical nursing, so LPN program has started, and we have an LPN to RN program. But in addition to that, we've added a certified nursing assistant program, medical assisting, we have surgical technologist, rad tech, and medical reimbursement. So we have so many programs now, but nursing does still take up the majority.
And rad tech is radiation?
Yes.
Okay. You got to use medical words, you got to explain them here. That's the deal. Okay. So one of the things we've been hearing about lately is that they don't certify schools if you don't have like a pass rate on your boards.
Yes.
So am I allowed to ask, like, how do you do in some of those?
Yeah, so our pass rate right now, our NCLEX pass rate for nursing is 91.5%.
Wow.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
And there were several semesters that we were sitting at 100% pass rate. So
wow, that's amazing. I had to take my dietitian boards twice.
Yes.
Like don't feel bad if you had to. But I think we've gotten better at understanding, sort of how they test, but what we need to teach and what we all need to know.
Right.
Yeah, that's outstanding. So what do you feel like you want people most to know about being a nurse, about choosing this field? Because I always feel like it's sort of a very personal thing.
Well, the one thing that I think about nursing is that it is personal, but you can do anything with it. So like I said, I've been a nurse for 26 years, but I've been in so many different areas. So I've done everything from OB and seeing people come into the world to 9 years of hospice where I saw people leave the world. And that's why I like teaching, because I can share all those experiences with the students. And it's just one of those things that there's always going to be a need for nurses. And I really feel like nurses it is a respected profession. And that's what we're trying to do at our school.
There's a special place in heaven for nurses. They're beyond respected, yeah. And I think what you just said is, you can start out doing one thing, but you can keep changing the choices. There's so many opportunities now.
Yes.
And I think that your education allows you to do that.
Yes, absolutely.
Good for you. Well, we want to make sure that we have a link to these programs. I know you start kind of each semester. You'll take a new class if you'd like to find out about that. I know you also have affordable financial support. If somebody thinks that's a barrier, please reach out and don't let that get in the way. We do need nurses.
Yes,
Thank
absolutely.
you. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure to meet you.
You too.
All right, just ahead, treating vein problems in your legs, how to get rid of that heavy feeling that you get by the end of the day. And our pizza people need to be making some stuff for us. You making something? Oh, yeah. We are so happy to have Pizza for a Purpose. Amy Pass is here from the UC Cancer Center, along with Thomas Kluentrup. And he's from Bourbon House Pizza. And Ivy Bayer, she used to work with us, but we love to have her back. She's with Cincinnati Magazine. We're going to share what's coming up for this important fundraiser on what's happening in health.
This portion of What's Happening in Health is sponsored by Network for Hope and William E. Hesch Law.
In You're So Vain today, we've certainly still been hearing a bit about the bruising on President Trump's hands and his swollen ankles due to a condition called venous insufficiency. Dr. Andy Hearn of the Vein Center of Cincinnati says it is a common condition. He treats it often in his office, and it's when the blood flow doesn't quite go the direction that it should in the body. You have to reroute it with ablation or medicine in the veins. As for what causes it,
it is genetic. Unlike peripheral artery disease and heart disease, which are more environmental factors involved, like smoking or diabetes or poor lifestyle, chronic venous insufficiency occurs in young and old patients, and they're usually typically very healthy patients, but they have this poor flow in the veins that slows their leg function down because of the heaviness and the aching. It's slow, it's progressive, and it eventually limits your mobility because of the heaviness in the legs.
if this sounds like something you have, Dr. Andy's team will evaluate you virtually at no charge. 513-232-2400 is the number to call, or you can visit what'shappeninginhealth.com. In Hope You Know Today, which is what we hope you know each week about your mental health, there's new concern about kids who are diagnosed with ADHD and being given medication too soon. A study from Stanford Medicine focused on preschool-age children who are 4 and 5 years old. Only 2% of kids at that age are diagnosed with ADHD. But if a diagnosis comes that early, guidelines from the American Academy of Pediatrics recommend 6 months of behavior therapy before starting medication. The findings in this study showed that 40% of kids diagnosed at this age are given medicine within 1 month.
Probably a big reason is related to a problem of access to behavioral treatment approaches. So a lot of times I think pediatricians or families feel like they don't know where to go to learn these behavioral approaches, and so medication sometimes is given earlier than we would want.
These findings, published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, come after researchers analyzed medical records of more than 10,000 young children with ADHD. All right, just ahead, a whole new place for those who need nursing home care, but want that care while remaining at home. And Dr. Colleen Thomas-Phillip is here. She is going to join us. She's from Glenwood Behavioral Health, and we're going to hear more about stopping the stigma of mental health concerns. Stay with us for our next half hour. It's on What's Happening in Health.
The headline medical stories that affect you and your family. This is What's Happening in Health, sponsored by TriHealth.
Welcome back, everybody, to our second half hour here on What's Happening in Health. Got a great rest of the show for you, beginning with a team supporting cancer care in our community. This is the Healing Center at UC Health. We got a great way for you to get out, enjoy a good cause that supports them. I want to welcome Thomas, Amy, and Ivy. They are all here joining us with how to share a slice. There we go. We heard you can toss and make dough and all that stuff, but really you're here for a great purpose, and we're going to be talking about it coming up soon. And the team at Glenwood Behavioral Health has a great program. It is aimed at overcoming the stigma of mental health. Joining us this half hour to share how we can all do this together, we welcome the President and CEO of Glenwood Behavioral Health, Dr. Colleen Thomas-Phillip. Great to have you here. Thank you. But first, a quick headline for you. You may notice that hospitals such as Good Samaritan have updated their visitor policies. As of this month, you can still visit patients, but overnight from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m., each patient now can only have one approved visitor. You may also notice many lobbies are closed outside of general visiting hours, and entrance doors will also be locked. TriHealth tells us this is about patient and staff safety. They're updating their visiting hours and guidelines. This is not yet due to illnesses such as COVID or the flu. Our top story this half hour is in Healthy on the Go. A new program helps keep senior citizens in their homes, and it helps with a major barrier to care, which is transportation. The PACE program opened in Norwood this week. The program partners with the Council on Aging and TriHealth to offer comprehensive coordinated medical social services to frail older adults who would qualify for nursing home care but want to be able to stay at home. The PACE Center provides transportation to medical appointments or for people who need coming and going to their building in Norwood.
With the ability of our vans to pick people up at home and bring them to our center to attend the day center, as well as to get to and from all of their specialty appointments here, as well as in the community, is really a great resource to give them the ability to get to the doctor's office when they may not have had it otherwise.
For more information on the PACE program or to see if you or a loved one might qualify, 513-862-7223 is the number to call. We also have a link for more information on what's happening in health.com. Also today, look good, feel better. You want an alternative to better sexual function, but you don't want to take erectile dysfunction drugs? We cover it all here. The team at the Advanced Cosmetic Surgery and Laser Center in Norwood has this chair. You sit in it, and it's like doing Kegels, yes, guys do those too, to strengthen your core. It uses electromagnetic energy. Women often use this chair to fight incontinence. Now guys are using it for sexual function. It is called the Emsella chair.
Many men who've perhaps had prostate surgeries or things and have pelvic floor issues may have urinary incontinence as well, so it is FDA approved for that. But secondarily, it's also increasing the blood flow and it's strengthening the pelvic floor musculature.
If you'd like more information on this chair, 513-351-3223. It does cost you about $1,000 because you need several sessions, and in most cases, that's not covered by your medical insurance plan. All right, up next, could Gary the Lion help us learn more about preventing the flu? We're going to find out from the team at Mercy Health. And our team that is slicing up good health, one pizza at a time, going to help us talk cancer care and how we can all join in and support a great cause. Stay with us.
This portion of What's Happening in Health is sponsored by Metro.
In our Ask a Nurse, when's the best time to get a flu shot to make sure you're protected for all of flu season? Well, we recently met up with Gary the Lion, the mascot for FC Cincinnati, and the team at Mercy Health to talk about the importance of flu shots. Right now, the flu shot recommended for everyone who's more than 6 months old, that's Gary the Lion. So doctors at Mercy Health gave us a simulated shot there. They tell us it's especially important for people with underlying health concerns, including those with chronic lung disease, heart disease, diabetes. The vaccine won't prevent you always from getting the flu, but if you do get it, it lessens the severity.
So the best time to get your flu vaccination to cover through the whole season would be between September and October. The coverage typically lasts for around 6 months, so that gives you a good long coverage to protect you while flu is spiking through that time of the year.
Doctors say practicing good hand hygiene, one of the best ways to prevent the flu and the spread of it. You also should keep your own hands off your own face and teach kids these good hygiene practices. It can prevent spreading germs. All right, we all washed our hands now because it's one of our favorite times of the show. Anytime there's food involved, you are welcome in a TV station. We have the little "will work for food" signs. But we are excited to have you here for a wonderful event. Let me start with our UC person. Let's talk about the event.
Yes, absolutely. So we are here to talk about Slice Night, which is Wednesday, September 10th. 5:30 to 8:30 at Sawyer Point, Yeatman's Cove.
And you go out there and you buy pizza, and it supports what?
So the event is $20 in advance, $25 at the gate, but it all goes back to support patient care initiatives at the University of Cincinnati Cancer Center, which I'm here representing to express our thanks and gratitude to Cincinnati Magazine, to Bourbon House Pizza, and all of the pizzerias who come and donate their time and energy to do this amazing community fundraiser to support our cancer patients and families at the University of Cincinnati Cancer Center.
And what people don't realize is even if you have insurance, being sick is expensive. There's all kinds of other things, and so I know you use those to support patients in a variety of ways.
Absolutely. This event in itself, this will be our 12th year, and it has raised over $350,000 in support of the Cancer Center. And we've been able to use those funds to create more effective care spaces, to create more welcoming environments for families, because as you know, nobody is fighting cancer alone. And so we try to improve these spaces and keep everyone in mind when we're doing these initiatives. It also supports our care teams and physicians when they're meeting and discussing patient cases and multidisciplinary care, how to treat each patient individually to just get the best possible outcomes each time.
Yeah. All right. We got the important stuff out of the way because this smells so good that I'm really distracted from what you're saying. All right. I'm going to have Ivy tell us a little bit more about how Cincinnati Magazine gets involved in this. But can you just tell me, you're kind of making up a pizza. Can you start us here? You brought a deep dish. I didn't see that.
Oh,
that's my fave.
Yeah, that's our most popular item is our deep dish. That's what we're known for at Chicago Pizzeria here in Florence and in Newport. That's what we're here for. So obviously deep dish, you basically just put all your toppings in. So basically your pepperoni, your sausage, your ham, and your cheese, your bacon, and we put all those together, cook it in the oven, sauce, cook it another time, and then out pops this.
Okay, so like magic, like this is amazing.
It is magic.
So
it is.
why don't you build? Can you put some of those ingredients
Yes,
there?
of
Well,
course.
Ivy talks to us a little bit about this. Started as kind of a brainchild, didn't it, with Cincinnati Magazine?
Yes. So we partnered with Performance Foods, as Amy said, 12 years ago, and Performance Foods approached us actually like I think everybody, unfortunately, has been touched by cancer in one way or the other, and they had lost a very important person in their company to cancer. And they had an idea for really an incredible pizza party. And so they approached us with this idea and we loved it. And so we launched 12 years ago with the idea of an all-you-can-eat pizza party. So once you pay your ticket, $20 ahead of time, $25 at the door, kids 10 and under are just $10. You come in and all the pizza is as much as you can eat. And it's not little samples of pizza. Like what Thomas is making, it's slice night. Yeah. It is slices like this, deep dish, all different kinds of pizza, and all the pizza is made on site. So we bring pizza ovens in. So we have 10 pizzerias like Bourbon House and others that will be there cooking on site. We have other food as well, beer, wine, cocktails, music, and it's a fun night. People bring their families, their pups, and it's a wonderful pizza party for a fantastic cause. Over $350,000 raised since we started, and it's a great night. We have amazing partners that we've worked with. So
let's show a few pictures from that, because while we're doing that, I want to bring in Elvin. He hasn't done the deep dish thing, and he's one of our newer photographers
our official
here.
taste tester.
Yeah, and so we have to, okay, I noticed you didn't pour the sauce on. Do you bake it first and then put the sauce on?
Yes, that's what we do. We bake it first, and then we take it out, and then we put the sauce back on, and then we...
And so that's what keeps from getting soggy and all that.
Yeah.
Right. So we have to put a piece in here. Come on, Evan. We have to put a piece in here so he can take a bite. So do you have a little thing that will serve that, or can you take it out with your hands?
Take it out with
he has the hardest job here.
Let me tell you something. I'm so glad to have him try this, because if you don't know,
so if you don't like this,
pizza,
I will take this personally. I did make this.
Yeah, no pressure.
So
I'm gonna
no
put
pressure.
a little plate under that just in case. There we go. All right. He gets to take
all of Slice Night is riding on this one bite.
Yeah. Right. No pressure. We won't make you talk with your mouth full of everything. So take a bite and give us all right. And while he's doing that, just tell me, she said $350,000, but I show up there. How many hundreds of people come out for this?
Usually between 1,500 and 2,000.
Wow.
We also have a VIP ticket that's $75, and that gets you early entry. It gets you parking on site. So the event, as Amy said, starts at 5:30. VIPs get in at 5. You have specialty seating. That is an open bar versus purchasing your tickets for drinks. So it's a great cause.
All right. So 2 things. First of all, is it the bomb? Oh my goodness. So have you done the sauce topping thing before with the deep dish? Yeah. So do you usually like deep dish, or do you like
I love deep dish. Yeah, Chicago style is one of my favorites.
You know what? That's what I don't think if you've ever really tried. People go, oh, we have deep. No, you don't.
This is definitely the deep dish in this area, definitely.
Yeah,
The only other deep dish
you.
that you can ever find anywhere close to this place is up in Chicago.
Yeah. Where are you located? Where's your?
I'm from Florence, and then we also have another location over there on Aqua and the Levee in Newport.
Okay, just a little shout out there. And then final thought, like, what do you feel like when you contribute to an event
Oh,
like
it's
this?
amazing. I think the one thing that really gets me and the owners, Stephanie and Mary, is that every time that we're invited, we're always just jumping at the occasion to help out, because we know how much this does good and how much this means to other people. So we're always just trying to help out to the community, always trying to provide a good time with great pizza.
Yeah. All right. And before we go, just a little video of the Cancer Center, the Healing Center. That's a new place at UC.
Yes.
And
our Blood Cancer Healing Center. We just celebrated the 1-year anniversary of having patients in the building. It also made possible by philanthropy. It's just a wonderful new space for patients where they can really get that all-encompassing care.
Yeah. All right, let's put up the information one more time about Slice Night. We'll see y'all there. It's kind of a bargain. You can't buy like a pizza for $20 now.
No.
So get all you can eat. Not that I'm a huge fan of pushing that, I have to say. But I understand if it's eaten for a good cause, the calories don't count, right?
Exactly.
That's real decided.
Exactly.
We help professionals. Thanks, Alvin. No calories in that, and that's the best. This isn't going to last in the studio long. Thanks, you guys. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
It's really a lot of fun. All right, just to have the perfect prescription for your brain might be getting social. We'll explain why in Aging Gracefully. And Dr. Colleen Thomas Phillip is here. She's going to talk about stopping the stigma, something really important when it comes to your mental health. All next on What's Happening in Health.
This portion of What's Happening in Health is sponsored by Northern Kentucky Audiology.
In Aging Gracefully today, a reminder from the team at Life Enriching Communities that loneliness over time doesn't just make you sad. It can actually lead to physical brain changes. Getting together with others for activities such as those you see here can keep those changes from happening in the brain. Things like cell loss, brain shrinkage. These changes can lead to depression, memory loss, and much more. We asked Leanne Cliff, the activity director here, what she notices in people who do stay active and do participate in activities.
Once they get involved, they continue to just keep coming and enjoying. There's a sense of community and they build friendships. So once that initial social setting begins, then they become branching off into their own little groups and lunch outings.
We love that you do that. If you'd like more information, many of these programs are open to the community. 877-532-1899 or visit what'shappeninginhealth.com and click on the links section. All right, we want to remind you in minding your health that all of us play a role in stopping the stigma of mental health. Joining us to share a little bit more about that, our team from Glenwood. Tell us a little bit about your role there and who you are.
I am Dr. Colleen Thomas Phillip. I'm the CEO at Glenwood. And we provide care for people seeking inpatient or outpatient mental health and substance use services.
Now, you say that casually, but you really offer kind of a wide range. Tell me just a little bit about your care levels.
Yeah, so we treat if adolescents need support, 13 and over, we provide support to them. And right now we're very excited because we have a new educator on board. So adolescents coming into our facility will receive education each day. Our outpatient and our adult services as well, ages 18 and up. We provide support to them. In our outpatient services, we have intensive outpatient program, and we have an PHP, partial hospitalization program. So if people are just stepping down from inpatient into outpatient, they can go into a 3-day program where they're just coming in every day to receive support and therapy, or they can go into a more intensive PHP, partial hospitalization program, where they're spending most of the day in our outpatient treatment program, and they're receiving therapy and just learning tools so that they can go out and live the life that they choose. And that's for both adolescents and adults.
So we recently had a chance to get in your facility, share a little video with your outpatient program. Yes. Tell me why that matters, because you can't just push somebody back out into a regular schedule.
Yeah, you know, it's so challenging because people will come in and they're in a crisis, right? And we function like a psychiatric emergency room. So they'll come in, they'll receive some treatment for a couple days. But when you go back home, things just don't automatically go back to normal. So the hope is that they will utilize outpatient to just develop whatever skills is necessary, whether they are suffering from anxiety or depression or schizoaffective disorder, schizophrenia. We're providing them with the tools so that they can successfully go back to school or go back to work, take care of their families, et cetera. So that transition is important. You just don't, just like going to a psych emergency room, a regular emergency room, you just don't go in and say, oh, I'm healed. You follow up with your primary care physician, right? And so the same expectation is if you go into psych emergency, that you're following up with your outpatient providers, you're following up with your primary care, because that overall health is important.
It is so important. And I know you said one of the things you're very passionate about is sort of breaking down barriers to care. And talk to me a little bit about some of the ways you're working or reaching out to do that.
Yeah, right now it's exciting. September is National Suicide Prevention Month. And this is next week we have an event called Breaking the Stigma. The focus is on suicide prevention. And what it's all about is just bringing together the community. Anyone can come to this event. It's free. We'll have a panel of experts available to those wanting to hear about suicide prevention and how to support loved ones, how to get through it themselves. And we'll have a short film screening where we look at a film with someone that may have been suffering from mental health or substance or suicide. And we have that conversation about it. And then, what's the beauty of it is that Glenwood Behavioral Health will be represented there. However, we have collaborated with so many other outside providers who will be there available with resources. So wherever you are in the Cincinnati area, you can connect and you'll know what's out there and the services that are available to you if you're suffering from a mental illness and if you've had some struggles with suicidal thoughts.
Well, I like that you open your doors. You can kind of come in a non-threatening way. But as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking like, we're talking about suicide. And people always say, oh, that's going to give the power of suggestion.
Yes.
You don't break down the stigma if we don't talk about
this,
right?
We have to talk about it, right? According to the CDC, suicide is the 11th leading cause of death in the United States. And amongst young people, ages 10 to 34, it's the second leading cause of death. We can't ignore it. We have to talk about it. So it's important for me overseeing a hospital and caring about the community that we continue to have these conversations. So we have to talk about it.
And I think that you don't want to normalize something, but you do want to normalize that you know where to go for help.
Yes.
And you can tell someone something's on your mind. So one thing I've wondered, because you sort of we met you when you sort of started in this role, and I wonder how this has sort of shaped you and what you've learned along the way, and just that you're like, wow, just kind of share with me a little bit about that. I'm always curious.
Yeah, what I've learned along the way is you can't do enough, right? There's so much more that I can do, the people that are working with me can do. The community has so many needs. We look at health equity, and one of the things we noticed recently was when people come in for services, they struggle to maintain those services out in the community. And so what do? We hear what people are saying, and we provide them with support so that they can access those services.
So you mentioned you recently added transportation?
Yes.
That's a big deal.
Very excited about that, because transportation is one of the biggest barriers for people in terms of following up and following through with care. It stops the revolving door when you look at what the needs are and you help people, provide them with the resources to access those services.
Yeah, it is a huge barrier. Well, we applaud what you do. One more time, let's put up that information about your event, Stopping the Stigma. There's no charge. It's open to the community, correct?
No charge.
Yeah, we want to make sure you know when that is, where you can go, and we'll put all that information on what's happening in health.com. And then you also have an 877 number. If I call that, what do I hear?
You call, you'll talk to an admissions advisor or counselor. They will listen to you. They will either have you come in for a free assessment and direct you to the appropriate lines of service of care. So whatever that caller is requesting, we'll help them access whatever care service line they need.
And that's so important, because when you get a human, then they can direct you. And we're not one size fits all with any kind of health care, let alone our mental health.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we are grateful to have you in our community. It's been fun to watch your growth, if fun's the right word.
Yes.
I'm sorry that you're needed, but I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah, and I just want to add one thing. 988 is the suicide crisis lifeline. If someone is looking for help, if they know someone that need help, please reach out. You can text or call 988. People are available 24/7, 7 days a week to provide that support.
Yeah, and we've used that number a number of times. We have a great community because we're lucky that we have enough staff and they know where to refer you and what your areas are, and they will get you to the right place. So, yeah, God bless you for that.
Thank you.
Thanks for having
Thank you for having me.
us and talking about this tough stuff. It's important. All right, just ahead, improving body and soul for guys. So we're going to hear one of the key things to reducing stress and feeling better. Stay with us.
This portion of What's Happening in Health is sponsored by Mount St. Joseph University and Advanced Cosmetic Surgery and Laser Center.
In Body by Design today, a new survey reveals how men feel about their physical and mental health. This is video provided by the Cleveland Clinic. They conducted this survey. The results of the survey say that 81% of guys say they notice changes, for example, when they don't exercise on a regular basis. Nearly half of those report a decrease in mental well-being when they're not active. They're more stressed out, they're more irritable. Even though many men know the benefits of physical activity, 1 in 3 say they do not exercise regularly.
The benefits of exercise really start with serotonin and dopamine, which are released within the brain and get us to feel good.
Men who were surveyed also reported higher levels of stress and anxiety during a typical week if they were not physically active. And doctors just encourage guys not to be afraid to reach out for help, for self-care, and to seek professional help if needed. All right, a couple headlines to leave you with. Black adults in the U.S. are hospitalized with heart failure nearly 14 years before white patients. A Northwestern University study also found Hispanic patients are hospitalized about 8 years earlier than white patients, and Asian patients about 3 years earlier. Study's authors say the reasons include health insurance status as well as educational and economic disparities. And a new treatment approach showing promise preventing breast cancer. University of Pennsylvania clinical trial found it's possible to identify breast cancer survivors at risk of their cancer coming back by locating dormant cancer cells in the body. Already existing cancer drugs then were able to clear some of those dormant cells in 80% of the trial participants. We will, of course, be learning more about this, but that is it this week for What's Happening in Health. So glad you're here. We'll be back same time next week and hope you will be too. Until then, everybody, stay well and stay tuned.